Hi everyone! Welcome to webinar number 2 for TSM8. How are you guys? Yay! We hope you're just as excited as we are. We have here with us almost half of the team of operations and finance. So these are the people that you will be seeing. These will be your best friends for the next 4 months and a half. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves so you can see who your account executives are.
Hi, my name is Cesar Jimenez, and as Trini said, I'm an account executive here in Startup Chile.
Hello, my name is Jaime Romo, your account executive.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Astargo.
Hi, Joussen Arteaga, account executive.
Okay, so awesome. We currently have 3 people watching. That's not a big audience. But the important thing is that we're here to help you. If you have any questions at this moment regarding your financial process or how to get reimbursed for certain expenses you've been doing, so now is the time to ask them. Please just type in any questions you might have, and we will be more than happy to answer them. In the meantime, maybe we can give some general tips. We did go through some general questions last time, but just to keep in mind, expenses regarding visas, regarding plane tickets.
Okay, more or less like some general tips, we could give them right now, but if you have a lot of doubts, don't worry so much. Once you arrive here in Chile, at the start of the program, we'll be having a mandatory financial workshop. We will be reviewing in detail all the norms and all the rules to the financial process here in Corfo. So don't get too nervous if you have a lot of doubts. Try to focus in the terms as we are explaining to you. All the steps that we'll be sending, we'll be informing step by step all the things that you need to do regarding the way that you choose to enter the program, whether it's like a warranty or reimbursement.
Great. So thanks, Cesar, for that. You want to?
Yeah, if you return to come to Chile, please keep your invoice of your trip and the boarding pass. Yeah. Just please keep all the documents, please, because if you pretend submit that expense, we need those documents in order to approve that expense. That's it.
All documents that we'll be asking you to approve your expenses will be the original ones. So keep the originals, no copies will be received. Keep all the invoices, all boletas, and all related documents like your withdrawals from the bank. And have in mind, for example, if you brought some amount of money from your country, keep that amount in mind, have it clear, have all the information clear. Yeah. Oh, and read the terms and conditions.
Sí.
So that's a very important information. You will receive step 5 tomorrow with your playbook. The playbook is a very important document where you will have a very good summary of what the program is going to be like for the next 4 months, and what are the mandatory activities that we expect you guys to be in, and how more or less the tracking will be done. So it's a very good overview of the program, something that you definitely have to read carefully. It will give you a head start during that first week and during the first weeks in general. So yes, that's going to be a little bit like your Bible. So please read it thoroughly. Okay, so we don't have any incoming questions. So please, people, don't be shy. If there is anything that you have doubts with, now is the time to ask. I don't know if you want to know something more in general about a topic, or we're here for you. this is the reason we are doing the webinar. So, yes, no incoming questions at all.
Also, you got our emails in your feed yesterday or a few days ago. So if you have any specific doubts regarding your own particular situation, please write your account executive, and we'll be trying to give you all the information that you need.
Okay, so no, Carola, we can't see you, unfortunately. This is a one-way webinar, so you can only see us. However, we will see you very soon in a week or so. So yeah. Okay. Something else. I'm going to just keep filling in with general information. So the people that have not reached out to their landing buddies, we encourage you to do that because it's a very good way to start communicating and getting in touch with the community. If you get together with them via WhatsApp, or if you're here in Chile already, get together for coffee, and they can maybe start introducing you to other people, other suppers. So please don't lose this opportunity to actually start networking with all other suppers. So we strongly encourage you. Yeah. Nada. No problem. Carola Reyes is the only person that's typing. So thanks, Carola, for that icebreaker. We have 7 people watching, but none of them are typing. So we don't know if this is a good sign. If you're actually understanding everything, which could be good, or hi Alejandra, nice to see you. Hi, because you're account executive. Okay. Yes.
So for now, try to worry about the start of the program, like your start. For example, if you need your accommodation and keep all the documents as we told you, and try to keep in mind also what you want to achieve in these 4 months here in Startup Chile. One of the first instances that you will be sharing with us, it's called the initial meeting, and for that initial meeting, we'll be sending a document. Once we arrive in Chile, we'll be sending that document for you to elaborate your plan, to set your own objectives, to distribute the budget. So for now, try to keep in mind what you want to achieve, how you want to spend the money. As we told you, some of the most specific rules will be set after your arrival to Chile in the mandatory financial workshop. So for now, try to keep in mind what you want to do with that money and how you want to do that. So what are the objectives that you will be setting for yourselves that we'll be discussing after you arrive. Try to do that as a homework, I think, to start to keep it in mind once you arrive to the program.
Great. That's great advice. Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you.
So we have Julia saying hola. Hola,
Hola.
Julia. nice to meet you too. So no more incoming questions.
Oh.
It's good. So initial meetings and boards will be the same.
Yeah.
Sí, el primer
Okay, so hi, Francisca. We are developing a platform, and there are a few expenses related to web page hosting that we are wondering if we are going to be reimbursed.
Yes. Yes, if that's part of your development plan here in Chile, yes, that's expense that can be approved. For now, if you have any plan about doing some expense related to your project, the first thing that you need to do is to write to your own account executive and let him or her know that you are going to be spending the money in that terms, so that we can like give you advice about the best ways to do it, about the documents that you need to present in the financial meeting for that expenses to be approved. And remember to keep all the original invoices. If you made an expense that won't give you an invoice, that is expense can't be approved. So keep all the documents. If you have any doubt regarding a specific expense, write to your account executive first, so that we can give you all the information. I think that's for now. Keep all documents and ask us anything that you need, because we're here to help you.
So that's also very good advice. Within any doubt, it's always better to ask instead of just making a decision. So that's always something to have in mind. Your account executive has always to approve whichever kind of expense you'll be making. Thank you. No problem, Francisca. So Carola had the same question. I hope we answered it. Let us know otherwise. So no more incoming questions. So that's what the guys here are saying, is we don't want to overload you with information at this stage, because it doesn't make any sense. During the first week, you will be receiving a lot of information about the program, about the staff, about how everything will be working. So we don't think it's very efficient that you receive a really specific information right now about the financial process. However, do keep in mind that you will be having workshops, you will be having help and guidance all through the program. So do not worry at this stage about the specifics of the financial part. Okay?
For now, other thing you can do is read again all the terms and conditions of the program, because it's very important for you to understand them. Because as you know, we are a public accelerator, so we are regimed by the laws of here in Chile. So read that again, and read tomorrow the playbook, and it's going to be sent to you, and read it thoroughly, because all the information is there, and you need to know some of those points.
Okay, so we have a question from Perla. Hi, Perla. A doubt in relation to the grant. Do you have to choose between housing expenses or salary? Who wants to take that question?
No, si puede ser ambos. Puede ser ambos. Pueden pagarse el salario y pueden pagar el housing cost. Sí, eso está definido los montos de plazo en
los terms and conditions.
Okay, so here in TSF, specifically the TSF program, you don't have to choose between housing costs and salaries. But all the information is on the terms and conditions, because there are certain amounts that can be approved. So you need to check that and be between those amounts to be approved with no problem. But as I told you here, specifically in TSF program, you don't have to choose between those two expenses.
So you can have both.
Yes, you can have both.
We will explain that in mandatory financial motion.
Okay, perfect.
Process to salary.
So another typical question: Can I hire someone to work here in Chile and pay him or her?
Great question. Yes, you can. You have kind of like two categories. One is outsourcing, when you hire someone to do a specific task related to your project, but it won't be a permanent task. In those cases, we only need the invoices, original invoices, and the proof of payment. And that expense can be from abroad. For example, you can hire someone from your own country, but we won't be asking for contracts, only for outsourcing. If you hire someone as an expert, which means he or she will be developing a permanent task for your own startup. So you have a working dependence with that person. You have to show us an original contract signed and notarized here in Chile, because the expert must reside here in Chile, and the related document that can be an invoice, a factura, or could be a boleto de honorarios, and the proof of payment also. But yeah, maybe that.
And can I bring somebody from abroad to work with my startup?
Yes, but remember that only for your formal team members we can approve the plane ticket, for example. And if you want to bring someone as an expert, no,
Yes, so you can bring somebody from abroad as long as he is has a technical and technology and service background. So it's somebody that is an expert in this area and is not easily, you can't easily recruit him here in Chile. So we have a special visa for them called Visa Tech, and we can help him get the visa. However, he has to have proof either by a CV or by that his profile is an expert in technology. Okay? Dice, Julia, do we need to have an enterprise in Chile to receive a salary? For example, in order to make the boleta de honorarios?
No, you don't have to incorporate here in Chile. I think it's a good thing to do, but it's not mandatory for the program. And for claiming the salary, you don't need that because it's a special figure. But for example, to make and receive boleto de honorarios, you need to make another process that you have to make face-to-face in the SII offices here in Chile, which regulate, for example, the taxes. And after that, you can make and receive boletas de honorarios. But for your own salary as a team leader or team member, we won't be asking you to have any incorporation documents. We won't be asking you about this process that I told you in the SII, because you need to present Form 29 and a simple signed statement that we'll be providing you once you arrive here in Chile.
Okay, thank you for that. Francisca, generally speaking, and from past experiences, how are the budgets distributed in the projects? For example, percentage of general expenses, percentage of salaries, of rent, in marketing.
There are no like standard or a general rule about it. It depends. Yeah, no, it depends 100% in your project about what you want to do. For example, in some cases, some people distribute more in products, some people distribute more, for example, for marketing. It depends for outsourcing. So it depends in the stage of development that you are. But the idea is that the main part of the grant is distributed to the own project. Now, for example, if you are trying to submit more than half of the budget for example, in only housing costs, we'll be questioning that, because the grant must be utilized mainly for the development of your own projects.
Okay, thank you. Another typical question, because I read in the handbook that you cannot be reimbursed for transportation. But what if I want to travel because I have a very important work meeting or I want to attend a seminar? Will this be reimbursed?
No. Sorry. In city transportation, we don't.
Yeah, more than what you want to do, it depends on the distance, kind of. Because city transport, like inter-urban transport, can be reimbursed. For example, taxis or Santiago metro or anything. Yeah, Uber, for example. Yeah, all that it's intra-urban won't be reimbursed. If you, for example, have a business trip to another region here in Chile, for example, Valparaiso, or you need to go to another country, we can approve that, but it has to be very explained to your own account executive about why you need to do that business trip. You need to present all the documents that explain that travel, we'll be sending you another document called technical pertinence. That with that document, you will be explaining to us what you're going to do. For example, if you need to make a business trip, for example, to Argentina, what are you going to be doing each day, for example, that.
Great, thank you. So no more incoming questions. What is another typical question?
Ya pasamos por los salarios, no outsourcing.
Can I, for example, buy a computer? Because my computer is really old and it's not working well. So I think it's very important that I change my computer.
It can be approved. It can be approved, but it has to be explained like truthfully. You have to provide us all the arguments about why you need a specific computer, and it has to be like market related, for example, in regarding the price.
Nosotros podemos financiar una parte. Si se quiere comprar normal, depende mucho del gasto.
Okay, thank you. And what about if I want to rent an office space?
One of the benefits of the Startup Chile program is that we will be providing a co-work space, which is very good for you, it's very useful, it's very big, so you don't have the need to rent offices. In some cases, it can be approved, but as I told you, it has to be very, very specific as to, for example, why the co-work offices aren't enough for you. But it's not a common case, as I told you. Another general thing is that, for example, when you arrive here in Chile, you will be having a temporary accommodation. For that temporary accommodation, as I told you, you have to keep the boleta or the invoice that they provide to you. But for those cases, we won't be having a contract for that temporary accommodation. But for your formal accommodation, we'll be asking you to present to us a contract signed by both parts and notarized. And it has to contain all the information regarding the price, regarding the way that you will be paying, regarding the both parts of the contract. And after that, you need to present to us whether an invoice with the payments or just the monthly payments as stated in the contract that you will be presenting to us.
Okay, perfect. And can you explain a little bit more about the quotations I have to present?
Yes, for outsourcings and acquisitions over 3.5 million, over 2 million Chilean pesos, you need to present 3 quotations. Yeah.
For the same service, same conditions?
Yes. Whether it's, for example, it's per provider. It's per provider. But for example, if the provider gives you 2 invoices that add to 2 million, you need to present the quotations after you submit the second invoice. Or if you present just 1 invoice over 2 million, you need to present the 3 quotations there. If you don't present the 3 quotations, we won't be able to approve that expense. So if you'll be spending the money in an outsourcing or an acquisition over that amount, the idea is that you try to get the quotations as soon as possible for you to not have any trouble in the financial meeting when we ask you for that documents to approve that expense.
You should present a formal quotation. We don't receive emails or just a Word document with the details. You need a formal quotation with the details about the service provider and the conditions of the payment.
And do you have a list of service providers that you can share with us?
Besides the perks, we don't have another providers for a specific service.
Perfect. So what else? Can I be reimbursed if I hire internet in my apartment?
Yeah, actually, we are classify that expense as a office expense.
Okay.
No,
No, house
Perfect. Okay. So we don't have any more incoming questions at the moment. We hope that things are a little bit clear for you at this point. However, do please have in mind that we will have so much more instances where we will answer your questions. We will have the workshops. You can contact us via email. People that are still working on their visas, please let us know if you're having any problems, and do please let us know as soon as you get your visa, so that we can check that off our list. So yeah, I don't know if there are any other general tips. No. Okay. Okay, so we have one more. Do we have a tope for housing expenses?
Yeah.
Per month.
Per month.
Sí. Pues, no lo recuerdo ahora porque han ido cambiando la fase, pero está el término de mención.
Okay.
Creo que debería revisar.
Yeah. If you, if, for example, for the charges to the project comes only the team member, the limit is 500,000 Chilean pesos. And if you have more than one participant, the limit is 700,000 Chilean pesos.
Great. However, guys.
These expenses for housing costs is rent, housing, water, gas, and electricity.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No TV, no TV cable, no Netflix. No.
We don't allow the cable.
so it's
Netflix.
okay. So yeah, so it's only basic expenses like housing, water, electricity, and phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other common expenses.
And common expenses, but yeah, we cannot reimburse your Netflix account or your cable, as you can imagine. Okay, so now we do seem to have no more questions. So yes, so thank you guys for joining us. We hope we were
One
helpful.
last advice is don't spend money in your project without our approval. So if you pretend expense, for outsourcing or acquisition, please ask us for please.
And one more thing is, it will usually take you up to 7 weeks until you sign your contract.
Yeah.
So that's something very important to bear in mind, is you will need money for those first 7 weeks of the program. All of the expenses that have been pre-approved, they will be reimbursed, but do have in mind that during those 7 weeks, you will have to take money out of your pocket for those expenses, okay? We would love to have everything faster, but you have to keep in mind that we are a public accelerator and we have a lot of specific processes that we cannot change or we cannot speed. So you will have to bear with us there and be patient until you sign your contract. Okay? Okay. We have one last question. When are we going to get the funds? Okay, so I basically answered the question. So it's around 7 weeks after the date of program starts. So if you're starting the 27th of August, then it will be end of September. Yeah, so towards the end of September or beginning of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so try to come prepared for that.
Oh, so we have one more question. If we stay at a hostel or hotel at the beginning, do we receive a refund?
Yes, that counts as temporary accommodation. As I told you, you need to keep the invoice or document that they gave to you and the proof of payment related to the way that you paid for that expense.
Do also have in mind that Airbnb is not considered as a formal accommodation. So you cannot use Airbnb services. Another question is, so we need a contract to prove that we're having housing expenses. What do we need to present?
Yes.
sign contract or
Puede ser
invoice.
otra cosa, si no tiene contrato. Sí. So yes, you don't need to contract, but you have to present either the contract or an invoice. So for example, if you're renting a room in an apartment,
The sign contract for notary and proof of payment, the cash withdrawal and sign declaration or the transfer.
Yeah,
for the
I
money.
don't understand.
okay, or the bank statement, okay? Okay. So it seems that we will be closing up now. Any more questions, guys? Shoot. No. Okay, so
Oh, wow.
thanks again for participating, for logging in. We're very excited to meet you in a couple of weeks. So yeah, make sure to read terms and conditions. Make sure to reach out if you have any questions. Okay, so awesome, guys.
See you.
See you.
Have a nice weekend. Ciao, ciao.